Mixed feelings have spurred about Forever since its upgrade from phone game to official sequel. Even with the Saturday morning cartoon-worthy animations and seeing these beloved characters more than 10 years later, people were still skeptical about it because at the end of the day, it's still an auto-runner. Mario Run and Rayman Jungle Run were certainly not bad, but you'd be hard-pressed to give them full-on sequel status. After years of conflicted feelings, steady hype, and long bouts of radio silence, I turned on the game for the first time to finally see if this was a worthy sequel to the game that popularized the super hard indie platformer. After giving it a sizable amount of time, I can safely say, it's different. The original game had you jumping and leaping across giant gaps inside bite-sized levels with total control, fast respawn times, and easily digestible stages that didn't give you time to be sad about your deaths. Conversely, Forever has you in giant levels with partial control and stages that you will almost certainly not be able to understand immediately at first glance. It's almost puzzly? You'll legitimately wonder how to traverse some of these places the first couple of times you attempt them. It had me really concerned at first, but seeing Meat Boy dart back and forth from one end of the screen to the other while dissolving blocks and riding fishhooks as the path slowly becomes clear to you is a really, really nice feeling. You get a real appreciation for how Team Meat designed the game around the auto-run mechanic. Seeing Meat Boy endlessly spur himself into saws because he can't stop running is heartbreaking at first until you realize it's pretty much what we all did in the first game. I have to say, the level objects do a great job of differentiating each world's feel. Punching crates to align a wall jump in the third world is vastly different than trying to get out of the needles as fast as you can in the second. You aren't going to have to worry about learning different movesets to traverse these stages though. Not only do the characters all have the same attacks and jumps, but there are no special guest characters in Forever. And that's a giant shame. When the original Meat Boy launched more than 10 years ago in XBLA, the assortment of indie game special guest characters made it feel like a culmination of lesser-known game developers making their presence known on a new frontier, and they even got a foothold in the video game industry besides just, putting stuff on Newgrounds. Forever goes the Fighter Z route and gives us droves upon droves of different kinds of Meat Boys, which is really disappointing. There is one standout character in particular that had me laughing super hard. I'm not going to spoil it, but you will know it when you see it, don't worry. On the flip side, the cutscenes are absolutely one of the best parts about this game. While not the most sophisticated, the first Meat Boy's cutscenes were very endearing, spurring up memories of finding crude but silly Newgrounds animations online for the first time. Forever is like, fuck, holy fuck. I'm sure some people would argue that the handcrafted feeling of the first cutscenes gave it more of an identity than Forever's like perfect corporate, almost cinematics, but for me it was just awesome seeing an animated Meat Boy kicked up to this level. Also, there's a Mario RPG homage, so there's only so much I can complain about. The soundtrack is very much similar to the 2018 version of Super Meat Boy. Whereas the first soundtrack felt like a Newgrounds greatest hits of electric hooks and melancholy churns, the new one is, it's okay. It's fine. The closest it comes to touching the original is the hospital theme, but even then it's just no contest. The credits and intro themes are also good, but you're gonna get long stretches of gameplay where you're just like, how is this a Meat Boy song at all? You could argue that since these levels are longer and more thought-provoking to resolve, that the music should be more calming, but it just feels like something's missing in the end for some of these places. So, does Super Meat Boy Forever have what it takes to stand toe-to-toe with the original game? Well, I have over 20 hours on it across PC and Switch, and whilst I have been enjoying myself, there are some glaring issues that I've noticed. The later worlds especially go overboard with some of the level objects and puzzle-like ways to progress. I feel like if this was made by Nintendo, there'd be an executive peering over the level designers going, no, we shouldn't do that, that's too much. They don't have that. they don't have that at Team Meat, so we get to see Meat Boy in its unfiltered, unaltered, and purest form for better or worse. I have some problems with how the game looks, too. The cutscenes and art are great, but I can't shake the feeling that these levels look like they were made in an editor, and not something just a developer did. I just get a Mario Maker vibe sometimes, and it's hard on the eyes from looking busy and discombobulated. Gameplay-wise, it might be more clever than the first Meat Boy. Relevancy-wise, you're talking about a title that popularized the super hard indie platformer and re-reminded us that people can graduate from making Flash games online to making official retail games. It was destined to come up lesser. That doesn't mean we didn't want more or that we don't like it. I'm scared though because a lot of people are going to write this game off before they give it a fair shake. But the dive, punch, and power-ups really do a lot to give this game a really neat angle to tackle level design from. Here's a video I did on the 10th anniversary of the original Super Meat Boy. Thanks for watching this, and please subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. It's a cliche thing to say, but it really does help smaller content creators like myself get a foothold in the YouTube algorithm. Bye-bye.